Okay, so we are going to talk about functions in this section. Um, these are actually linear functions, so I'm going to put that word right there, and you can do that as well, because if I haven't said it already, you're going to learn that there's different types of functions. In Algebra 1, we focus on linear because that's the basic and most simple one, but towards the end of Algebra 1, in fourth quarter, we're going to deal with quadratics. We'll deal with absolute value functions. And when you get into other math classes, you'll see there's even other types of functions that are a little more abstract. But for the most part, we're going to be dealing with linear functions. And in this lesson, what we're going to do is see other ways to describe them other than in a graph or as a graph. So let's first get a definition of what a linear function is, and you have on the top of your notes. That's the first thing that we're going to write. So let's get our definition down. A definition of a function is a relationship between a dependent variable and an independent variable. Okay, so we're talking about a relationship where you have something depending on the other. And if you really think about it, you have these type of relationships all around you. For example, this morning I went and got some gas to fill up my car with gas. The amount of money that I paid for the gas depended on how many liters of gas that I put in my car. Okay? Easy peasy. A lot of you all may work at the commissary or the shopette. The amount of money that you make depends on the number of hours that you worked. So this is a simple concept to understand. We're just going to be talking about these types of relationships in terms of numbers for the most part. So when we talk about a linear function, it basically consists of two parts. The first part is a set of numbers. So we're writing the notes where it says a function consists of. A function consists of two parts. The first part is a set of numbers called a domain. Okay, so that's a very important word because this is the main, official word of this set of numbers. And I'll probably describe what that means. Really, the domain is your input because you got to start. Can't spell. Because you got to start somewhere. You got to start with something, and we always start with our domain. So that's our input values. Okay. Your second set of numbers are called the range. And the range is what you get as a result of the relationship between the domain. So we will just simply call that the output. All right? So when we talk about functions, linear functions, the domain and the range are two very important terms. You'll hear me use them throughout the year. You'll hear them used throughout your math history. So you've got to know which one means what. You can't mix them up. So in your next part of the notes, I'm going to give you a couple of more names of the domain and range because depending on the situation, the name may be different. So in the next video, we'll fill in that table that you have.